It was an ordinary evening, the kind where nothing seems out of place, until something disappears without a trace. In the thick of winter, when snow blanketed the earth like a heavy, muffled quilt, Lauren Miller was out with friends. The crisp chill of the evening air cut through their laughter as they walked through the forest trail near the outskirts of town. Just another group of friends out on a casual hike. They had no idea that this would be the last time anyone would see Lauren. Lauren, a 28-year-old woman with an infectious smile and an easygoing nature, had always been known for her adventurous spirit. On that night, she was no different. Her friends were ahead, chatting and laughing, when Lauren stopped to admire the silence of the snow-covered trees. She wasn't alone. At least that's what they thought. Just moments before she vanished, one of her friends turned around, catching a glimpse of Lauren in the fading light. But by the time they reached her, she was gone. What followed was a frantic search. Friends, family, and local authorities scoured the forest for hours, calling her name, their voices carrying through the trees but swallowed by the dense silence. The trail was clear, but Lauren was nowhere to be found. No footprints, no signs of struggle, no indication of where she had gone. It was as if the forest had swallowed her whole. It wasn't the first disappearance in that area. Strange as it sounds, the forest had been the setting for more than one baffling case, but nothing had ever felt quite like this. Witnesses would later describe the eerie stillness that descended after Lauren vanished. No sounds of the usual night creatures, just the unnerving quiet of a forest that had grown suddenly cold. As days turned to weeks, the questions only grew more unanswered. How could someone vanish in front of so many witnesses? How could she just disappear without a trace? Was it possible that someone was watching them all, waiting for the right moment to strike? Or had she simply walked into the woods, never to return? Even more unsettling, local legends whispered of strange happenings in those woods. Rumors of a lost spirit, of things that didn't belong, shadows that moved of their own accord. But was it superstition, or was there something darker lurking beneath the trees? The days following Lauren Miller's disappearance stretched into a blur of tireless searching, unanswered questions, and moments of unbearable silence. The local community, shaken by the event, banded together to scour the dense forest once more. The area, known for its tranquility and natural beauty, had become an unsettling labyrinth of unknowns. Yet despite the dedication of those involved in the search, Lauren's whereabouts remained a mystery. Search teams, composed of locals, volunteers, and trained dogs, spent days combing through the snow-covered landscape, their boots crunching through the frozen ground as they moved in systematic lines, hoping to find the slightest sign. Yet as they trekked deeper into the woods, nothing pointed to her location. There were no tire tracks, no broken branches, no evidence of a struggle, not even a trace of her clothing. Just the endless, unbroken expanse of snow, the forest silent as ever. Each day, as the temperature dropped, hope waned, but still they searched, driven by the memory of the last moments they shared with Lauren. Moments that seemed so ordinary, so unremarkable. But where did she go after she stopped to admire the trees, just moments before she vanished? The police investigation, meanwhile, had uncovered little. Surveillance footage from the nearby roads showed nothing unusual. There was no sign of anyone following Lauren or her friends. Her phone, left behind in her bag, showed no indication of her plans, no calls or texts that might suggest she had gone off with someone. Everything about that night seemed normal, and yet nothing about it made sense. One of the more puzzling discoveries came after several days of searching. Near the spot where Lauren had last been seen, her friends noticed something unusual. A single, bright red mitten. It was placed deliberately on a snow-covered rock not far from the trail. No one could explain why it was there. Lauren's mitten? It didn't match anything she had been wearing. yet the sight of it sent chills down their spines. Could it have been placed there by someone else, trying to send a message? Or was it a mere coincidence, another oddity in a case already full of them? The uncertainty surrounding the mitten only deepened the mystery. As the weeks passed, the focus of the investigation shifted to the strange lack of any physical evidence. The absence of footprints beyond the spot where Lauren had last been seen was puzzling. Could she have walked deeper into the woods and somehow managed to disappear entirely? But even that theory had its flaws. The snow-covered landscape should have held onto some trace of her presence. Yet the area remained eerily undisturbed. Theories began to emerge, each more speculative than the last. One theory suggested that Lauren had gotten lost in the woods. Perhaps in a moment of disorientation, she had wandered off the trail, unable to find her way back. But this theory had its holes. Lauren was an experienced hiker. She knew the woods, had hiked there many times before. It seemed unlikely that she would have become so lost so quickly. Another theory involved foul play. Could someone have been lying in wait, watching from the shadows? The remote nature of the forest made it an ideal location for someone with ill intentions, someone who knew the terrain and could disappear as easily as they appeared. But if someone had taken Lauren, why leave no trace of their presence? No broken branches, no signs of a struggle, no clues to point to the perpetrator. And then, there were whispers among the locals. Whispers of strange happenings in the forest, tales passed down through generations. Some spoke of a hidden presence in the woods, of spirits that haunted the trees. Some even suggested that the disappearance was linked to an old unspoken legend about the area. A legend that spoke of a lost soul who led people into the forest, never to be seen again. But these were just stories, weren't they? Folklore. Or were they something more? Could there be some truth to these tales? Some dark force at work in the woods? The official stance of the authorities remained logical. A missing persons case, they said. But as time went on and the search continued to yield nothing, the sense of unease only grew. Was it possible that something or someone was deliberately erasing all traces of Lauren's existence? As the months passed, the case grew cold, but the memories of Lauren remained, fresh in the hearts of her family and friends, and her disappearance continued to haunt the community. Those who had known her, who had seen her that night, still clung to the hope that the mystery would one day be solved. But with each passing day, the questions grew more numerous and the answers even more elusive. What made this case even more unnerving was the seeming randomness of it all. Why Lauren? Why that night? Why had she vanished in front of witnesses, in the middle of a well-trafficked area, and yet left no trace behind? It was as if the forest had swallowed her whole, with no explanation, no reason, just the empty, desolate silence of the woods. Then, as if to remind everyone that the mystery wasn't over, something else emerged. A hiker who had been trekking through the area months after Lauren's disappearance found something odd. An old, tattered piece of fabric caught on a tree branch. It was unmistakably familiar. The pattern matched the one from Lauren's jacket. But how could it be there, so far from where she had been last seen? Had it been there all along? Or had someone placed it there recently? The discovery raised even more questions. Was the fabric a clue? Or was it just another eerie coincidence, like the mitten found earlier? As with everything else in this case, nothing could be confirmed. But one thing was clear. The search for Lauren Miller, and for the truth, was far from over. And the deeper the investigation went, the more elusive the answers became. Some still cling to the idea that Lauren wandered off, perhaps lost and confused, her fate sealed by the cold isolation of the forest. Others believe that foul play was involved, that someone knew exactly what they were doing. And some still wonder if the truth lies in the shadows of the forest itself, a place where the line between reality and myth blurs, where the unseen is just as real as the visible. Lauren Miller's disappearance is a haunting reminder that not all questions are meant to be answered. Some mysteries refuse to be solved, no matter how many searches are conducted or how many theories are proposed. The forest, with its endless quiet, holds its secrets tightly. And until those secrets are revealed, the haunting question remains. What happened to Lauren Miller? As the case drifts further into uncertainty, the search continues. But with each passing day, fewer people are left with the will to keep looking, and the eerie thought lingers. What if she never wanted to be found? You've been watching Echoes of the Unsolved. Until next time, take care and stay safe.